Look at this. Hey flannel friends, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. My name is Brian. We have a small 15-acre homestead where we have 2 sows for breeding, 1 boar, 2 feeder pigs, and 2 piglets. Not to mention with chicken math, about 50 chickens and some cows. We've had to figure out how to feed them for cheap because just with our pigs alone, we were spending about $200 a week in feed, which makes it unsustainable. So I'm gonna show you how to get free feed next. Is anything actually ever free? This was, well, technically. Free always has a cost, doesn't it? Cost in time, cost in materials, whatever. But this is a truckload of bread that we got for free. Now in a previous video, we talked about ways that you could save money on feed. And those included finding a local feed guy. If you don't know how to find a local feed guy, if you're in a rural area like we are, go to your local auto parts store and ask them. They know everyone. But what we did was we went down to our local grocery store, which is a chain, but it's a small chain grocery store. And we said, hey man, what do you do with your produce when you get rid of it? And all of your food that's expired. And the guy basically said, we throw it in the dumpster. Man's name was Billy, and as it turns out, Billy's from Jersey, which is nowhere near rural Virginia. But Billy was a great resource. Billy said, I have produce now, why don't you take some? So we did. Then he called us back a couple hours later and said, hey, I have some mayonnaise going out, you want that? And we did. And then Billy hit us with the mother load. Billy called me up and said, I know a guy, we call him the bread man. And he has bread that's going out all the time. I'm gonna give him your number and he's gonna call you. And I said, great, Billy, thanks. What's his name? And he said, I only know him as the bread man. About 3 hours later, the bread man calls me, who turns out, his name is Tom. Nice dude. And Tom says, I got a truckload of bread. So we drove about 22 minutes and we got a truckload of bread. Some of it was still good enough for human consumption. But that is not all. Look in here. This, my friends, is a barrel full of grain. Woo, fermented grain. And it smells like beer because we got it from a brewery. You want some? You want some? Have a sniff. It's actually the first time we fed it to him, so you get to see if our boar's an alcoholic. Come here. Come here. Here. Hurry. How's that? How's that smell? Whoa, right to it. Now we didn't get this on our own. A friend of ours works in a town about 60 minutes away, and they found a brewery that was just opening. They haven't actually opened yet, and so they did not have any relationships with local farmers. So they actually stopped on their way home and picked up a lot of this fermented grain. It smells amazing. We went over to them with some of the bread that we got from our source, and they gave us a barrel full of grain. Is that good stuff? You gonna get drunk? Now I know there's gonna be some of you going, but you're feeding your pigs the stuff that you don't want to eat, and it's full of soy and preservatives, and it's bad for you, and you're gonna die. Which is somewhat true. I would rather not be feeding them stuff that I don't necessarily want to eat. But at the very least, it removes it once from me, and it goes through their filters, which I don't eat. So, we'll see. Now obviously, the ideal would be to feed them from here, which is what we're working on. We're walking through our feed plot right this minute, and we hope by fall to provide all of the winter food for our animals, but that hasn't happened yet. So in the meantime, we gotta start somewhere. And of course, like most folks, we started by buying feed from big box stores, and then found a feed guy, and now we found a source, and now we're growing our own. It's okay. This life happens in stages. Now, why did I say, ooh, look at this. These are our mangolins that are supposed to get up to 20 pounds. You see the size of that right there? What we've been told is there's about as much under the surface as there is sticking above. And if that's the case, man, this is gonna be amazing. The greens are edible too. These things are just monsters. Actually, you know what? You wanna pull one out and see what it looks like? I do. That's a pretty good size one. Look at that. So that was the line under the ground. So it is, it's about 50-50. This whole thing is edible. That's probably 5 pounds if you include the greenery and the beet. Peek, peek, peek! What do you think of that? So if I didn't pay anything for these, items, the bread or the grain, why do I say it's not free? I had to take my truck to get it, and diesel's currently $3.50 a gallon, and I get about 15 miles to the gallon. It's 20 miles away, round trip, hour worth of time. So we're looking at, what, 10 bucks, 12 bucks to fill the back of that thing. And then of course, I had to go pick up the barrel from a friend's house, and they had to pick it up themselves from somewhere else. And depending on how much money you make, you might not find all these things worth it. If you don't have a trailer to haul barrels with, you don't have a truck to get feed with, I mean, you could stuff the back of a minivan and get creative. But all of these things are a trade-off between convenience and time. But I'm super stoked. That truck bed and barrel should last us at least a week, so easily a $200 savings. But that's it. I hope this helps you on your journey. I hope this helps you find some less expensive feed, keep some money in your pocket. Lord knows, with the way things are going, every dollar we can save is a good dollar. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that like button. Keep growing as you grow. And we'll see you next time here at Flannel Farms. Bye.